Good morning. I wonder if this table looks familiar to anyone because it is. I have my table back. I have my desk mat back. I'm very happy. Um, this is pretty much like I'm a little bit in my final resting place. That makes it sound awful. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But this is more or less my final form. My room is still in progress. I have a hobby room now. I have a new hobby room, I guess. But I have a new hobby room. But this one's honestly a little bit nicer than my old one because my old one was also my living room. So there's just like a sofa there. But this is like just my hobby room. I just have a hobby room now. And it's quite nice. It's quite nice. It's a lot smaller. That's the other thing. It's a lot smaller, but I can fit. Literally, I'm not even kidding. This is my, like, the exact same table that I've always streamed on because I love this table. I love this table. It was, I guess, kind of an heirloom. Like, it was my dad's table, and now it's my table. It was his work desk, and now it's my work desk, though I guess work as in Gunpla. But, listen, I can do whatever I want. It's something that makes me happy. And so, very happy. I have my exact same table. My desk, my desk mat is back. I have my little solar system desk mat. Let's say hello to my solar system desk mat before I cover it back with the Brunch instructions. But I'm very happy. I have my setup back. I even have my same external light. There is a window in here, but I don't really get much natural light because of the position of my table. But that's fine. That's what we have good old external light for. But I'm very happy. I still have a lot of things that I have to work on to like really put this room back together. Again, you only see this little portion of it, and that's really what matters. How much more stuff do you need to unpack at this point? In this room, quite a bit, actually. In this room, quite a bit. I literally, like, so all of my, like, figures are in here, but I haven't unboxed a single one of them. Like, all of my hobby supplies, minus, like, my basic Gundam toolbox, all of my other hobby supplies are just in boxes. And, like, I still have to organize. My books are unpacked at least, but I still have to, like, organize them. They're, like, completely out of order right now. All my books and my manga. But all my hobby supplies and all of that stuff is just, like, in boxes. And I want to unpack it, but I still haven't done that yet. Honestly, even the arrangement of this table is not, like, set in stone, because this is kind of just, like, to be completely transparent, the reason why I was running late this morning is that we were putting this table in here. This table was not in this room until like 20 minutes before the stream started. Until like 20 minutes before the stream was supposed to start is when this table entered this room. So that's why I was running late, because I had to finish putting together this table and then just like move all of my stream stuff in here and just like put it together, have my stream stuff set up so that I could at least go live today. But I'm still toying around with how I want to arrange things and where I want to put things. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I just haven't done it yet. And I love chaos. I know this means nothing, but it does, but it will. But it will. And I haven't even decided where, oh my god, this is a piece that's not even from this kit. Wow, my beauty in packing. This is a piece from something completely different that just somehow got mixed into my box for turn A. This is what happens with packing. But none of my, besides turn A and like another Gundam that I want to work on my own time, which is my 711 RX-78. Those are the only model kits I have in here right now. Well, Gunpla at least. I've got a couple other like random kind of papercraft kits in here just because that happened to be what made it here. But all of my Gunpla is not in here yet. I still haven't decided where all of that is going. Oh, there's so much happening. Yeah, I still haven't unpacked any of my built Gunpla. I still haven't posed it. I still haven't done any of that. Oh my god, thank you for the subscription. Thank you, for subscribing. Yeah, I still haven't unpacked any of my Gunpla. It's like, God, it's in a different room right now. I'm literally just like staring at this massive pile of Gunpla, and it's, oh my god. Because I am insane, and whenever I finish a kit, I like to keep the original box. I always like to keep the original box just in case, because one, I need somewhere to put like all the extra little odds and ends that a kit comes with. And also like I'm used to, like, I've moved around several times. Like, when I was in college, I moved between like several different dorm buildings and stuff like that. I mean, as a college student usually does. And just like I'm used to having to being able to just like pack up everything and just move every like couple years or so. So I'm just like, I always hoard my boxes. I literally, in my old apartment, it's so crazy calling it my old apartment, but in my apartment, it's not my apartment anymore, my old apartment, I had an entire closet that was just for boxes. I called it the box zone. That was the box closet, and that's where I kept all of my, like, not just my Gunpla boxes, all of my figure boxes. I keep all of my figure boxes, all of my Gunpla boxes, all of my figure boxes, and all of my just like miscellaneous, packing boxes too. That's part of why my moving was like not as bad as it could have been, because I already just like have a ton of boxes. I already just like had like a ton of boxes, so I wasn't like strapped for packing material. I just had a ton already. Which was pretty nice. And so yeah, at least the boxes for my like Gunpla that I'd already finished were in there. The Gunpla that I was still building, the in progress and the to be built, the pile TM was in my hobby room, which will probably be the situation once again, is I will have my pile TM in this room and then put my finished kits, the boxes for my finished kits, God knows where. I guess we will figure it out. And also my figures too. I'm literally just like staring at a pile of figures. At least I've moved all of my figure boxes in this room. I might like post a photo online or something just to like illustrate how crazy it is. But I have all of my Gunpla boxes in like one pile, both my finished and my unfinished and unopened Gunpla are all just like in a pile. Because all the ones that I had already like built and was displaying, I put back in their boxes that I still had. And so I have those, and then I also have all the kits that I hadn't built yet. I just have like one giant pile of all of my Gunpla. And it's like insane looking at it and figuring out where it's gonna go. But that's a problem for me actually very soon, because I want to have my hobby room set up so I can like get back to, because I haven't like worked on any, because I've been like so busy with moving and everything. I haven't even really worked on any model kits on my own time. For like the past month, I want to say. I just haven't been able to work on any model kits outside like my stream stuff, which is also like one of the first things that I moved over was my Gunpla, because it just takes up all of my Gundam boxes just takes up so much space. That was one of the first things I moved over. So for a while, actually, little peek behind the curtain, I haven't like worked on a project worked on a model kit project in like about a month, which is like feels insane to me. I'm like going crazy. I mean, of course I still have my stream. Besides like the 2-week hiatus that I took. Besides the 2-week hiatus I took during my moving process. Yeah. Besides the 2-week hiatus I took during my moving process, at least I still had like my stream stuff. So I'm not completely starved of model kit of model kitting, but it still is like crazy to me that I just like haven't worked on any of my other kits, on like doing any other project. I want to like get my painting stuff set back up because I haven't painted anything in a hot minute either. Even before I like started the moving process, it had been like at least a couple weeks since I'd painted anything. So it's been like at least a month and a half since I've even touched my airbrush. And I'm like, oh my god. And I have like several in progress projects and stuff that I just like haven't touched. And I really want to like get my everything up and running again, that I can get back into it. I have so many things that I want to do and so many things I want to work on and that I'm very excited for. Ooh, I totally just stacked huge, but that's fine. I like that this is kind of funky and sharp. I'm not entirely sure. I know this is part of a leg. I'm just like, ooh. The way that I it was this here and that slide to there. I think theoretically this it does rotate. Let me zoom in. I forgot I was gonna zoom in. I just wanted to show off that this was the same table before I like really got in here. Then I forgot to zoom back in. But oh yeah, off my freaky thumb bed. You know, I didn't realize, fun fact, the way that my one, I didn't even know this was called a hitchhiker's thumb. But the way that the extent to which my joints bend, I thought this was like completely normal until I was in like 8th grade. I was like 13. I thought this was completely normal because when I was in 8th grade, that's when we had our like genetics unit. And we started learning about like different genetic traits and Punnett squares, you know the deal. And I remember my like 8th grade science teacher, she was like talking about hitchhiker's thumb, and I was like, oh, I guess it's like a genetic thing. And so I was like doing this, like, yeah, a hitchhiker's thumb, like this, and just immediately, like, as she's walking past me, just like raises up my hand in front of the whole class to show them what a hitchhiker's thumb is. And I had like no idea she's about to do this, and I was like, well, I guess I have a hitchhiker's thumb. And she was like people, I think it was something, it was even like crazier, not crazier, but it was like even more kind of alienating, because she was like, yeah, like something about like hitchhiker's thumb is like something that's fairly common in people. It's like a fairly common genetic mutation. I'm a mutant. It's a fairly common genetic mutation, but it's like different people have it to like different extents, and I have it to like a crazy extent. Because I think she was showing us a lot of people with hitchhiker's thumb have it to like this extent, but I can like fully 90-degree my thumb backwards, which turns out, as I learned that day, is not quite as common. Along with all the other wacky ways in which I can bend my joints, which it will be a story for another time. And thinking about that, my 8th grade science class is kind of crazy, because I remember my science teacher, for some reason, thought that a good choice in movie for, I need to emphasize, 13-year-olds was Gattaca. It was Gattaca. That we could learn about like the basics of genetics. And for those who are not familiar with the film Gattaca, it's a pretty good movie, but the basic plot is like it's a world where people are allowed to like genetically modify their babies. So like you can kind of just like design your baby and have like have like a perfect baby that is like super amazing and good at everything. But you have to pay for it, obviously, so it becomes like a whole classist thing too. So obviously only like rich people can afford to have like these designer babies. But also because of that, there's like a whole thing where, you know, society's now like it's not even like a classist thing, it's literally like I'm genetically superior, which is, I didn't really realize at the time, but definitely a eugenics thing too. A commentary on eugenics too. Because I didn't even know. I don't even know if that was a choice. Yeah, I don't know if that was her choice either. Because I distinctly remember watching that movie as well for science because of the DNA tie. Yeah, it might not have been her choice. We probably had different science teachers. Shout out to Miss Wilbur. I'm name dropping her because she has since gotten married and that is no longer her name. But she was great. But I still think it was really funny that we watched Gattaca. And it was like this whole thing about like it was like a whole thing about genetically modified people and how there's like this one guy. I don't entirely remember the plot. I very well could be getting things wrong, but I distinctly remember there being like some guy is genetically modified, but he pretends to be genetically modified, but he's actually not. But there's a lot of discussion of like DNA and like, because G-A Gattaca, like those are the letters that make up the DNA sequence. Again, I know nothing about biology. I need you people to know that I have not taken a biology class since I was 16. I took like regular like honors bio when I was in 11th grade, and I have not touched a biology class ever since. So I will just be saying things, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I know basically nothing about biology because I never particularly liked it. Not particularly, I definitely just never liked biology. I have to make 2 of these? I totally was supposed to make 2 of these, but I've only made 1. That's fine. I've done that before. But anyway, the reason why I brought up Gattaca was because there's a sex scene in that movie. It's like not a short fade to black either. Like there is most definitely like that movie. I feel like I have to fact check. Like, I want to Google, like, what the original rating for Gattaca was, if it was, like, PG-13. It probably was, or else I'm sure that, I don't know if they'd be able to show us if it was rated R, right? I feel like, dang. Yeah, it's PG-13, and we were a class full of 13-year-olds, so theoretically it was appropriate. So I guess like nothing was shown. Yeah, I don't think anything was shown. Yeah, it's called Gattaca because the 4 letters are then I don't know what any nucleobases of DNA. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what my teacher said too. She said they were playing chess. She said they were playing chess. Did we have the same? We might have had the same teacher. Because I distinctly remember, except for my class, she like couldn't, for some reason, this is like a new, I think, computer system for her, and she couldn't figure out how to fast forward it. And so what her solution was to just like turn off the projector screen and let the scene play while she figured it out. So we could still like hear the entire scene and see it. Like, if you looked over at her computer screen, you could see it, but like, you could only really see it if you're like sitting in the front. But it was still really funny, and she was just like telling us, I was like, okay guys, they're just playing chess, don't worry, they're just playing chess. And of course, we're in class full of 13-year-olds. And I have this distinct memory of watching Gattaca. This is supposed to be 2 pieces. Oh, 7 and 8. Oh, this is an 8. I was like, does this mean I can use 7 or? But I just thought it was really, and I do remember this from my 8th grade biology. One of the few things I ever learned from 8th grade that I really know at all about biology, actually. It's really funny. I think I talked about this before, but part of why I've really enjoyed watching like House MD lately. By the way, I'm still addicted to watching House MD. I still am blowing through House MD. I'm like almost done with season 4. Like, it's crazy. And so part of why I like House MD is because, you know, I like math and I like physics and I like engineering and astronomy and stuff. And I know enough about these things that sometimes it's hard for me to enjoy. Like, I'm also a fan of like mech, and obviously I'm a fan of like mech and sci-fi. Sometimes it's hard for me to like watch things because I feel like I know too much. Like, whenever someone is just talking about like literally just like talking about like technobabble in a movie, I like know what enough of the words mean that I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And that like takes me out of the entire scene. And it's like such a struggle. Like, that's why watching like any of the Iron Man movies, I like distinctly remember watching like any of the Iron Man movies and getting so like annoyed because he was just saying literal nonsense. So I will say in Infinity War, I want to say, like the big Infinity War, Thanos was there. I love that I don't remember the name of this movie. I saw it in theaters. I just remember I watched Infinity War, parts 1 and 2. Both the parts, I watched them in theaters. I remember there was like a scene where Tony Stark was describing like a space-time continuum thing, and I will say, even though what he was actually saying made no like freaking sense, because this is like they were just inventing, like this is not real, a thing that can actually happen. So obviously I had to make some stuff up, but I will say like I remember him mentioning like a specific like probability theorem. I don't remember what it was, but he mentioned like a specific probability theorem or like a continuity theorem. And I was like, oh, that's like real. That's like, oh, you're like kind of using a term in the correct context. I was so impressed. I was like, oh my god, like I know that equation, and that's like almost a correct usage of it. Even though they're just like making up science because they have to like burn back time or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, it's never truly gonna make sense. It's sci-fi. But I just like that's like the one time. But for the most part, there's a lot of like oh my god. I have a love-hate relationship with like outer space movies, with like astronaut movies and whatnot. Because so often they are not even remotely close to reality. Like, majority of the time. Like Interstellar, and I remember like Apollo 13. Apollo 13 was actually pretty solid, but I remember I watched I think it was Interstellar. It had, I want to say, Sandra Bullock as the lead actress. her or like someone that's like a similar person that was like the lead in this movie. I want to say it was like it was. I remember I watched it in theaters and I had an awful time because all of the science in it, like all of the like stuff that was happening in the actual movie made literally no sense scientifically. I was like, what the hell is happening? Like if someone opens an airlock of a spaceship, that's absolutely not like people, you don't just like freeze to death. Like they're like discovering floating bodies in the space, and I'm like, it looks like perfectly intact. He just looks like he took a nap and got put in a freezer. And I'm like, that's absolutely not what happens when you die in space. When you like die in outer space, that's absolutely not what happens. It's like, one, you get irradiated beyond belief, depending on how close you are to the sun, but most likely yes. It's like, depending on how unprotected you are, one, you're getting irradiated beyond belief. But anyway, I will not bore you with these. I just remember sitting there and being like, this sucks. None of this makes any sense. And it just like completely takes me out of it, right? It just completely takes me out of it because I'm like, I know this is wrong. I can't just like sit there and enjoy it. Like I feel bad because I can't just like sit there and enjoy this piece of media. That's kind of why I like stuff like Gundam, because it's so like, it's gotta be like out there. Like I need it to be like a level of unrealistic fantasy that I can like tune it out. Like that none of it matters to me. I love Gundam technobabble because none of it even like they don't even use real words. Like they make up everything. Like they don't even remotely try to have like real science in there. Like my least favorite thing is when like the attempt is made for real science, but it like is not at all. Like they try and use like real science words and like hint at real science or real math things, but none of it actually works out or makes sense. Like I am one of those people that when they have in a movie like the cartoonish blackboard full of equations, I'll look at the equations and try to solve them to see if they're real. Like I will, just for fun. I just want to see. And I like hate when things do that because they're never real. Why would they? Why would they do that? Anyway. And that's part of why I like Gunpla. Like, why I like Gundam and Gundam anime. Because it's just like, and mecha anime in general usually doesn't even like try to even make it remotely scientific. Which is what I love. I love when they're like just going hog wild. It's the best. I love Gundam. But yeah, that's why I love House, because I know so little about biology. I truly can just sit there, head empty. House says something is lupus. Oh my god, I think it's lupus. He could say anything, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe it's happening. I can't believe he has lupus. Yeah, I have no idea how any of that actually works. They're like, run the titration test for the iron chelation, and they just say words, and I'm like, oh my god. Sorry, beyond the chest scene, the only thing I remember distinctly is the references to the ocean scene where the non-eugenics baby and his brother, who was a eugenics baby, played chicken. Yeah! I remember, I'm pretty sure that was the plot where there's like the one brother who was a eugenics baby and the other brother who wasn't a eugenics baby, and they like kind of pretend to be each other. That's like part of the plot. Like pretend to be each other. There's like this whole thing about it, and it was like, like a whole thing. When I watched the hit movie Gattaca, I should watch Gattaca again. I have not watched that movie since I watched it in 8th grade biology. I'm like, I think about it now and I'm like, I feel like that is actually a pretty good movie. But I was 13 and didn't know how to comprehend that it was a good movie. You see, this is the age that I was at. I was at the age where I thought, like, actually, Tokyo, man, not to date myself, Tokyo Ghoul had not come out yet when I was 13. But I was at that age where, like, I was like super edgy. I was like, Danganronpa is peak cinema. Like, that's where I was at mentally. Okay, I looked it up. Yeah. That's where I was at mentally. And thus unable to comprehend the potential cinematic masterpiece that is Gattaca. So maybe I'll watch Gattaca again. The plot is that non-eugenics guy is using the DNA of, like, this eugenics guy who's a champion swimmer, and we later find self-inflicted paralysis on himself by throwing himself in front of a car. All I remember is that the main character dies at the end. The only thing I remember about the movie is that the main character dies at the end. Because he won second place at a meet or whatever and couldn't handle not being perfect besides being a designer baby. Yeah, is that one eugenics guy is using the DNA of, like, a guy who was a champion swimmer. Later find self-inflicted paralysis. Ah, okay. He was like, I can't believe I'm not perfect. And so I'm gonna go die about it. This is a piece that I cut out. What was this piece for? When? Okay. Did I not? Was this not the right piece? Oh, I just like, no, this was the right piece. I would to be, but this is, unless, what is this piece, actually? What is this piece, actually? Wait a minute. What piece did I cut out? And what piece is on here? He wants to go to space, which is why he needed swimmer guy's DNA to pass the tests to space. The chicken stuff is to show off how designer babies can lose against non-designer babies who can overcome their potential. His eugenics brother used to always win against non-eugenics brother, and one day he didn't. Non-eugenics guy had to bring his brother back because the other one almost drowned. Yeah, I do remember this. There's like a whole, like, eugenics commentary about how, like, the main character was someone who was non-eugenics. And it's about, like, designer babies and how they're actually, like, a bad thing. Whole nature versus nurture, yeah. I remember having a designer babies debate when I was in middle school, or might have been high school. I think it was high school. I think it was high school biology. We had that, like, debate of, like, should designer babies be legal? And I was like, obviously not. But there were in fact people who were for it, and it was exactly who you'd think would be pro designer babies. Is crazy. E1. What the hell is this piece? And why is this here? Is this A16? Yeah. And oh, there's 2 of 50. I already cut out. Okay, I now know what this piece is. The mystery has been solved. I am fine. We're doing great. Everything's okay, I think. Everything is okay, I think. Legs are fine. When they have another race when they're both adults, because eugenics brother threatens to expose his brother for pretending else, and once again, non-eugenics brother wins, revealing his secret that the reason he won is because he exerted his full strength, not saving any for the swim back in efforts to beat his brother. Once again, somehow eugenics brother nearly drowns a non-eugenics brother. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe, like, state-mandated eugenics could be bad. Yeah, because I remember in this society, it was like, you had to be, like, a eugenics baby in order to, like, actually succeed, like, really do anything with your life. Is before non-eugenics brother, like, faked being a new person, he was like a janitor, because that was all he was allowed to be, because he was, like, a non-GMO baby. Man, that movie was messed up. Yeah, I want to try watching it again. Just to see if it actually is a good movie. Drama happens, he has a romance with the non-designer woman. Yeah. He does, there is like a romance plot, that's why there's a sex scene in the movie that I experienced as at the ripe age of 13 in 8th grade biology class. Because there was like a romance plot line. I remember at the end of the movie, someone gets cooked. She also is similar to him because she has a heart condition that stops her from going to space, so she office stuff. Okay. Huh. Runner. Huh. That movie's crazy. I should watch it again. See what it was like. I guess I don't know what I'm doing. That is watching Gattaca. I can't believe that's like what's happening. Yeah, and that's why they fall in love. Ah, I do remember that. I do vaguely remember this movie that I was forced to watch in 8th grade biology. This is B1 is this one is this one. It doesn't. No, it does. It goes this way. Final DNA check to make sure he can go to space, and he panics because he doesn't have any more of the swimmer's DNA on him. Yeah. Rest in peace, Guy. Rest in peace, Guy and Gattaca. The scientist who has been overseeing all the DNA checks knew the whole time that the paper wanted to believe in potential. His own son is an center, and he hopes that his son. That's kind of sad. I haven't even. I don't have. I passed the check so you can face. Wow. Yeah. I had like a whole other thought in my brain that just evaporated. Oh, I remember. I was thinking about DVDs. I don't know why this reminded me. Well, it did because it is a movie, and I like collecting movies. The swimmer, he self-immolates himself. Yeah. I remember someone gets cooked at the end of the movie. You should remember someone gets cooked at the end of the movie. Being able to achieve dreams to go to space. Huh. Okay. I kind of want to watch this just to see what was going on. I think that was like, man, once again, half-baked thought that just didn't come out. Over the past few years, I've kind of enjoyed revisiting things that I used to like when I was very young, but haven't experienced since. To like mixed results. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, this thing was a banger. How could I forget it? I think one that I watched not too long ago was the movie Rango. Was the animated film about like a lizard guy voiced by Johnny Depp. Rango. And I was like, that movie was a fever dream. I barely remember anything about it, but I think I just impulsively decided to watch it at some point. And that movie surprisingly holds up really well. Like, that's a good movie. I was super not expecting it, but Rango is a good movie. Rango's a banger. And I was like, I'm surprised it's not remembered as fondly. It's kind of cast into like the fever dream pit of like of film and cinema that like no one really remembers it. I feel like it's not quite remembered too fondly, but I remember it be like I watched it and I was like, this is actually a good movie. I remember the writing was good, the animation was really good, and it was like the writing was actually like very clever because it's got like comedic points, and a lot of the time kids movies, like especially comedy and like children's animated movies, is very much like kids humor. Like it's not that funny as you get older, but like a lot of the jokes in Ranko were actually pretty good. I was like, damn, this is still funny. This is still pretty funny. There was like, I remember there's an inbreeding joke in there. Because one of the like enemies in Rango was this like clan of mole people that were very much an analog for like Southern Hicks. And there was like an inbreeding joke, and I was like, they put that in a kids movie? It was good. It was a good joke though, and it was a good movie. But there have been many other, like a lot of the anime that I liked when I was younger, I was like, this does not really hold up. Like, I rewatched one of my favorite shoujo anime when I was younger. Like, I originally read the manga, and then I watched the anime. But one of my favorite shoujo manga when I was young was Kaichu wa Maid-sama, which was like classic shoujo manga, and I rewatched it and I was like, oh my god, the main guy is awful. It's like I had too many brain cells to enjoy this now. Like, I think about this and the situation and what's happening in the plot for more than like 3 seconds, and I'm like, this guy is literally a criminal. Good. He should not be around women. The main character should not be falling in love with him and rewarding him for being awful. Like, oh my god. There's a polycap piece that I am missing. I'm supposed to... Oh no, I'm not missing. It's not missing. We're okay. I almost lost my mind. That wouldn't have been too bad. If this were when I have everything unpacked, sometimes when I am missing like polycap bits or anything like that, I just like grab them from other kits because a lot of them have extras. And so I'm like, oh, I could just grab one from another kit. I'll be fine. And then I remembered right now that I don't have, like, all of my Gunpla are like not sorted at all, not unpacked. They're just in a pile, and I'm like, oh god. Which is probably going to be one of my tasks for today, is getting that set up. It will make no difference, like, as a viewer, what's going to happen to my setup, but it makes a difference to me. Like, I think the way that this is visually is kind of my final form, because it's basically what I had before. And it's what I like. I like my setup. It's pretty nice. Lighting and my desk mat and my table and how my camera is, I think it's pretty fun and neat. But I will probably the of itself and my hobby room, which is very much still like in progress. I might post a few pictures on the Discord. I'm just like, I might put a few pictures on the Discord just to illustrate how insane this room looks right now and how like I'm just staring at a pile of boxes of Miku figures right now. Like that's just what's there. It's just a pile of boxes of my figures somewhere. It's just piles of figures and boxes of like my hobby supplies. I have 2 boxes of my Gunpla supplies. I have 2 boxes of my Gunpla supplies. I think one of the boxes is literally just like my painting stuff. I have a ton of paints and a ton of like airbrush equipment and stuff like that and all that. And I'm like, speaking of airbrushes, I still have my like basic tankless airbrush, which is honestly been holding up pretty good. I kind of, that thing is pretty banger. I do like my basic tankless airbrush. It gets the job done. It gets the job done and is a good like getting a hang of airbrushing kind of a situation. Like it's not bad. But I do want to get like a nicer airbrush. I do feel like I'm getting to the point where I want to move on to like a nicer airbrush. I feel. And recently, store started stocking like fancy, like the really nice like Iwata brushes. I'm like, ooh, hi. But it is like an investment. It's like a whole thing. Not that I'm like particularly against it, but it's like a whole thing. And I will need to like think about it and prepare financially and figure out how I'm gonna do that. And also it's like a little bit daunting because it's one thing like I have my basic kind of cheaper end airbrush that honestly gets the job done. The one that I use is actually one that's like a food grade airbrush. It's originally meant for like pastry chefs, because when you're like it's for pastry chefs to like airbrush food coloring on like fondant and pastries and stuff like that, which is cool and funky. And honestly, it gets the job done. It does what I need to do, and it's like really not. I mean, it's expensive in the context of like things. But for an airbrush, it was like $100, which is like not. It was less than $100. It's like $80. It's like $80 for like. It's got the compressor. It's got the whole kit. Everything you need is in there. And I'm like, it's for someone like me that was still learning. Someone like me that was like completely new to airbrushes and stuff. It's very nice. It's really good for people that are like me and entirely new to airbrushing and painting and stuff. Like that, honestly, if you want to get into like Gunpla painting, or even like people airbrush like Warhammer minis and stuff like that. But especially for like Gunpla customs and stuff, airbrushing was super daunting to me at first because I am like not even remotely trained in art. Like I'm not even remotely trained artistically. That was, I think, the most daunting thing for me, where I was like, oh my god, I barely know how to like paint like with a brush. Like the jump to like airbrush is so much. Felt like so much. And so I was like, can I even do this? But I bought like a cheap little airbrush that was like a basic pastry grade, like food grade airbrush for like, because obviously like the really nice airbrushes can run you like few $100s. That's like a few $100s, and that's a lot, especially because they're delicate. They require, like, airbrushes are delicate and require a lot of maintenance. And so jumping straight to like a really nice expensive one is a lot. Like, I still have not made that jump yet. And I've been using my little basic guy for quite some time. But I do a little bit, I'm starting to envy the versatility and like the versatility and the adjustability of a really nice airbrush, because it's not that I can't adjust this one. I can like adjust the air pressure and stuff like that a little bit, but it's all completely manual. Like I kind of have to guess. I kind of just have to like tighten it and guess. Like there's not really a lot of precision to it. And it's really good for like people that just want to get down the basics of airbrushing and figuring out how it works and just getting like the hands for it, which is exactly what I wanted it for, and it has been really good for, is doing exactly that, which is nice. But I'm starting to envy like the precision of really nice airbrushes, and I'm like, I think I kind of want to get like a nicer one. But if you are at all interested in airbrush painting, because I spoke to someone yesterday actually, who was getting into airbrush painting. By the way, I'm working at the store again, which is nice. If you ever drop by, I may be there. If you ever drop by, I may be there. Top Gaming Center, New England, Connecticut. I may be there. It's pretty neat. But I was talking to someone the other day about airbrushing. And someone who's totally new to airbrushing, and they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if I'll be good at it. And I'm like, honestly, the best thing you can possibly do is to just buy like a cheaper end airbrush and just go for it. Just get in there. And then eventually you can be me and start entertaining the idea. Gosh. But we'll see. I do want to try. I want to do a little bit more with like my basic little tankless guy first, especially since I haven't like, it's literally been at least like a month and a half since I've done any like painting at all, like airbrushing at all. I definitely want to work on some stuff, and at least like I want to get a little bit more into like some of my current projects and stuff like that, and in progress, like actually finish something before I like invest several $100s into a fancy airbrush. But it's something I'm doing. Also, I'm thinking about like doing commissions for custom gunpla, because I'm like, I feel like I could do that, but I also don't know at all what the scene of that is even remotely like, because in like the circle of tabletop gaming, right? I know several people that do commissions for like Warhammer mini painting, because with wargaming and Warhammer and those sorts of games that have like miniatures and whatnot, and even D&D stuff too, that have miniatures. The miniatures are more just like pieces for the game, so there's tons of people out there that like just want to play the game and don't really care about like painting and going through all of that. Meanwhile, there's people like me that like all the minutia of it all. But a lot of people out there that just want to play like Warhammer and don't want to think about much else. There is a big audience for people that that take commissions and just like paint Warhammer minis, because there's tons of people out there that just want to play the game and don't really care about the minis. And so this goes, yeah, and so there's that. But there's not really like a similar thing for Gunpla, because I feel like the fun part about Gunpla is the building and is the painting it and doing it yourself. So I can't really imagine there being like much of a demand. Like I know it's out there. Like I follow people on YouTube and whatnot. Like I watch people on YouTube and whatnot that are like, oh yeah, I paint stuff and all that. And I'm like, but where do you even like find the community for that and the demand for that, and find people that like want to just not build Gunpla and just have them, or have like custom Gunpla, but not want to do it themselves? It is like not quite something I can super fathom. And so I'm just like, I never put the stickers on there. I just can't quite fathom it. And so I'm like, I think I could totally do gunpla. Like, I think I'm skilled enough to do it. To, like, take commission gunpla custom. I probably have to, like, take a bunch of pictures, a little portfolio, but I think I'm qualified to do it. But I don't know, like, where the demand for it even exists. Like, I theoretically know it's out there because I know that there's, like, I know of people out there that do that. I kind of have no idea, like, how that even comes into existence. Because, like, with wargaming, right? Like, there's tons of people, like, when you play war games, that's, like, a community. And a lot of it is, like, via word of mouth, right? Where it's like, oh, I play 40K with you, and I know that you paint minis, and I don't want to paint minis, so I'll just pay you to paint my minis. And, like, most of my friends who do, like, Warhammer mini painting, like, do that, where they just take commissions on wargaming minis to just, like, yeah, I'll paint that for you, just, like, give me dollars and I'll do it. But I don't really know how that would work on Gunpla side of. So that's just, like, a thing for me to think about that I'm honestly quite curious about. That, like, I know it's out there. I just don't really know, like, how it exists to find it. I feel like I do want to do, like, custom commissions, but I don't really know how to go about that. That's, like, a thing for you to try. How? So obviously, before I even entertain that, I want to have my space a bit more set up and, like, work on a few projects just to get used to this space and have, like, a good workflow and figure out, like, where my things go and how I'm painting things and how long it takes for me to do things and stuff like that. Kind of just, like, get used to this space before anything else. But that is, like, something in the future that I do want to think about is, like, people just, like, do Gunpla customs. Because even, like, man, if it this is, like, a pipe dream, but if it, like, really pops off, I may even invest in, like, buying a resin printer and really going crazy with it. Yeah, I may be investing in a resin printer and, like, really going hog wild with it. Because I've already done that before, again, at my old job before I got laid off. We had a resin printer, and that they would let me use sometimes for, like, my own purposes. And I've, like, definitely modeled and printed a few, like, custom pieces for my kits when I had access to a resin printer. And I thought it was fun. I like doing that. Like, that's another thing that I think I can do, is that I mean, I have a degree in mechanical. I know how to do mechanical design. It's something I quite literally paid thousands of dollars to be able to do. But it's something that I can do, is mechanical design and modeling and printing custom parts. Something that I already know that I like doing. Though right now I don't have a resin printer. That makes things a bit difficult. But if I can do, like, Gunpla custom stuff and see how that works out, and even just, like, eventually on my own, I might just get one for myself just to have. Like, that's definitely an avenue that I personally go down. I feel that's very possible. Anyone knows anything even remotely about, like, or has any experience with, like, doing Gunpla, like, custom commissions and stuff like that, I would like to know. Not in, like, I'm just curious. Like, it is just kind of genuine curiosity. I just want to know what that's even like and what that entails. And how you got into it. Because I don't know any of that. I don't know any of that, actually. I don't know how you get into it. I don't know, like, what it entails and how many, like, people you can even expect to do custom stuff for. Because again, like, I can't even, like, I don't know, man. The fun part about Gunpla is like building and doing it yourself. So I'm like, I guess I'm sure there are people out there that just like Gundam aesthetically, but like don't really feel like doing the whole like painting thing and even like the building thing. I did like a somewhat of a version of this when I was in college. I had an old friend who would do like Gunpla customs, to the point where they would like compete in tournaments for it, and thus they would need like several copies of the same kit already built, and sometimes they just didn't feel like building, the exact same high grade whatever like 4 times, and so they would just ask me to do it, and so I would do it, and so I would simply do it, and it was fun. I know there's that, but I'm also like, well, that's like such a specific situation. That was literally like someone I was neighbors with in college. Happened to be someone who does like Gunpla customs and needs a lot of the same kit that they don't necessarily want to build 6 times on their own. So there's that, but there's also like, I don't know, man. People that would rather just have them as figures rather than like cells. I don't know how any of this works. I'm merely spitballing. I'm curious if anyone has any experience. People like that, or have ever done like Gunpla customs or done like commissions and stuff like that. I'm curious how that. I may have to consult. I feel like my best bet for research on this is consulting Reddit, which, man, messed up how good of a resource Reddit. I know Reddit gets like such a bad rep for like haha Redditors, but like genuinely, I like Reddit. Okay, I genuinely do like Reddit. It's a good resource. It's a good resource as long as you avoid the annoying things and the annoying people. Reddit's great. I have like my hyper-specific subreddits that I like going on, and that's it. I'm not even like super active. I'm not like an active Redditor. I don't comment and I don't engage all that much, but I do use it. And I do troll Reddit quite often. Troll Reddit for information quite often. I lurk a lot in several hyper-specific subreddits that I will never reveal for the sake of my reputation and my sanity. But it's fun. And as long as you stay in like your little hyper-specific bubble, it's a great time. Kind of messed up that it gets such a bad rep. Anyway, it's a really good resource for information. It is like so messed up how that's like genuinely one of the only good forums left on the internet, and how most other... I could like have a whole rant about how I'm so annoyed at the death of forum culture. I hate the death of forum culture. I hate that everything is like becoming Discord servers. I hate that everything's like becoming Discord servers. It used to be like a lot of these community things and community spaces, and like used to just be like you could just find on the internet, but now you just have to join like 15 different Discord servers to even like remotely know what's going on in a community and like engage within a circle. It's quite annoying. I'm like, what if I don't, and not to mention like if these are public or private Discords, right? Like if it's a private Discord, then you're kind of just boned. Like it's crazy how so many things that normally would just like be forums. Like I'm in a few Discord servers for like I'm in the WeCross TCG, like, well, it's not just WeCross, but it's like the only real community for like these obscure Japanese card games. Not obscure Japanese, they're popular Japanese card games, but they're obscure to like the West and to the States. but I'm like, this one. Yeah, but I'm in like a few discords for like that, and it's crazy. It functions the same way a forum would. Like, you just like are in there and it's like the community. But like, if you want to know literally anything that's going on within the community for this one card game, you have to be in the Discord. You just like have to be in the Discord to like know at all what's happening. And to like ask people about things, or to resell cards, or to know what's going on. Like, it's crazy. Like, forums, like, 10 years ago this would be a forum thing. There would just be like some obscure forum about this random card game, and that's where it would be. But now I have to join a Discord server. What the heck? I have to like, my friend had to send me the link for this Discord for me to like know about it and for me to be in it. I'm like, that's kind of crazy, and I don't like that that's how things are going, and how like that's kind of just what community is now. That's E1. There's an E2 runner. Oh, this is the E2 runner. It is exactly one piece. It is exactly one piece. Beautiful. But it's like so cool how like anonymous forum culture on. I can't just like, a lot of the time, right? Like, if I want to get into a new thing, like if I were to want to get into this card game and I didn't have friends to teach it to me, there's no like forum I can just Google and figure out how to do this with. I'd have to join the Discord, and like, I didn't even know I could get into the Discord until my friend sent me the link to it. I feel like it just makes information about like hobbies and communities so much more inaccessible. So much less accessible. What's the proper way to go about it? Like, less accessible or more inaccessible would get my point across better. But it's crazy. Even like Gunpla and stuff too. I'm in a few different Gunpla related Discords, and it's great. I like the community aspect of it. It's pretty neat. I'm in like one of the more local ones. I'm in like some of the Gen ones. Like, obviously they're all public, but it's still kind of wacky, and that it's like, yeah, it's nice that I get to talk to people about Gunpla, and like, if I have a question about like a painting thing or like a kit thing, I can ask people on the Discord and they will probably respond to me. But it's still like a closed off community, let alone like what would ever happen if Discord is down, or like if anything ever happens to Discord. There's no other external host for this information. This information will simply be like gone. At least like if it's an online forum, there is like some level of like preservation. If it was an online forum, like, of course there's like defunct online forums, but at least there's like internet archive, and there's like people who will like you can like download forums, and there are people who will like keep it stored away because that information is important. But with Discord, you can't do that. Like, it's just a Discord. It's just like a messaging forum. Like, it's not like a real... And Discord is trying so hard to integrate like forum features in there. Like, it's so crazy. Like, Discord integrates like literal features of forums, of just like, this is just like forum threads. Like, they have a threads thing. Like, Discord is just integrating forum features to replace forums. But I don't like that. I miss like forums. I want like actual forums that I can just Google. This is the deep kind of. I want like forums that I can just Google. That I can just find organically online from exploring. Like, that's how, when I was young, a lot of the things that I got into were because of like weird internet forums, both the good and the ugly. But like, I got really into like indie J-horror when I was in middle school because I stumbled upon an old forum about it, about like old RPG Maker games and stuff, like about like old Japanese RPG Maker games. I say old, they're like from the 2000s. I say old, I mean from the 2000s, but like I remember stumbling into this forum and getting really into these like Japanese RPG Maker games and stuff like that. And like that's how I got into Danganronpa. Via these like forums that I just happened to stumble across when I was a preteen. And I probably, like, maybe I would have been exposed to it later otherwise, but like I otherwise would not have really known. Hell, that's how I figured out how to torrent anime when I was that's how I figured out how to torrent anime when I was a kid. It was literally like, yeah. It was literally like I would go on old anime forums and people would teach you how to like watch stuff illegally and torrent anime. I guess it's due to creating a Discord server is cheaper than creating a forum, which is true. Like I didn't super think about that, but I do think you're right. Like a big part of it is that it's a lot easier to make a Discord server than to make a forum. Also, hello, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it is a lot easier and more accessible to like create a Discord server than to like a forum. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of mixed. Death of forums. Oh, it's very difficult because even there are like sites like Reddit, right? Though Reddit, again, hit or miss. Reddit is hit or miss. I do like Reddit. I do like that Reddit is one of the few like surviving forum platforms that is still like very much, and like I get a lot of good information off of Reddit. I think Reddit is very productive and good at like preserving information and teaching people things. It's great. I like Reddit, but I don't know, man. I'm still a little aggrieved that it's a lot harder to have those experiences of just like organically finding things, because now you just have to like join like you have to actively join like 15 million Discord servers if you want to like you kind of are just like stuck with that. And if you don't already like, it's the idea of like if you don't already know what to look for, you won't find it, right? Like in order for me to like join Gunpla Discords, I have to already like be somewhat familiar with the community and how it works. And so it's just like feels so closed off, and it makes me sad. This little waste bits. Then this goes in here somehow. This goes in somehow. Not quite sure how. Oh, I've gotten it. He's in there. But yeah, that's my little rant on why I am a bit sad about the death of forums. I think they're valuable. It's just a side effect of people wanting to run things differently and as cheaply as possible. Yeah. And like, I can't say that I hate Discord. I'm an avid user of Discord. I can't really say that I dislike it. But like, I'm in like a ton of Discord communities for things. That's how I know a lot about a lot of things. Because I'm active in a lot of, not active, there's not a lot of Discords I'm actually active in. I'm one of those people where I join a Discord and I never message in it, but I will lurk and I will read and I will scroll. That's about it. Because sometimes it's a bit daunting. Communities. At least, I guess, at least with forums, you can kind of just like put stuff out there and comment on things and like just do that. And it's like, I don't know, man, it feels a lot more structured. Maybe it's because maybe it's the neurodivergence. I like the structure of forums. I like Reddit because someone else starts some, like there's like a thread that someone writes and then I can just comment on it if I want to. And I'm not like, and that's like a perfectly acceptable way of participating in this. Versus like Discord servers, I feel like it's a lot more personal. And I feel like it's a lot harder to join conversations because instead of like it being so segmented and like having like, okay, someone wants to discuss this specific thing, I'm going to make a thread about this specific thing and see if people want to talk about this specific thing. Versus Discord servers is kind of just like a big message pile, and people can make different channels. People can do that all they want, where it's like, this is the channel for this, and this is the channel for that. But in the end, it'll always still end up just being like a big pile. And it makes it a bit daunting to like actually be active in Discord servers. That's why I'm like not really active in a lot of them. Outside of ones that are like private ones with friends. There's not a lot of public Discord servers active that I've been active in and or have been able to be consistently active in. Outside of I guess the tabletop one because I kind of have to be. Even then, it's not like it's super poppin' or anything. I would like it to be more active. I think that would be neat, but I don't know. I just feel like it's daunting. I feel like even if I were to make, like, if this was, like, an alternate universe where I was a bigger streamer than I am, I mean, maybe I don't have to fully consider this an alternate universe. Maybe, you know, in the future or something, I pop off and I amass a larger audience, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like every streamer has like their Discord, right? And if I were to do that, I couldn't even be active in that one. I don't even think I could be active in that one if it was like my own Discord server that I make. I don't even think I could be active in it. Which is like, yeah, I just struggle to like be active. Oh, I was totally not supposed to attach this yet. Totally. Supposed to get the legs in here first, and then I attach it, which makes so much sense. I love this. I kind of hate having to like have the waist bits together. I kind of hate when like I have the hips unit. I have the waist bit and I have the hips unit, and I just have to like get the legs, like attach the legs in there one at a time. And it's very annoying because now I'm like, well, now I'm knocking the little waist flaps around. What, they're probably going to fall off. A lot of the time they do fall off. And it's like really annoying to get them in individually. Whoa! Look at that. That's so nice and simple. I just attach them to a piece and they get attached to something else. Now he has more waist bits. And now if I want to take off the legs, I can just take them off as one unit and then I can fiddle with the legs, which is pretty nice. Even if one of the Discord groups you're in joins an already established forum, there's a huge risk of clashing of ideals or house run. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, like, Discord communities that thrive, I'm, like, happy for them, and I'm glad that they're able to do that. But, yeah, even if it were to, like, convert or join an existing forum, I don't think it would work out too well. Because, you know, like, the community has already been built. Like, I think it would just be kind of clunky to try and combine things because people inevitably will disagree with things and disagree on like how the community should be run and things like that. And I'm just like, that's so daunting. That's another thing that I'm like kind of glad that I don't have to worry about that. I'm kind of glad I don't have to like super worry about that. Not that I'm like against it, obviously. Like if I have more viewers, I'm not going to complain. But I'm like, it does feel a bit daunting about of like, oh God, how do you even manage a community? I barely like feel like I can talk in communities that are already established. I feel like I can barely be active in communities that are already established. let alone like manage my own. I guess we kind of already have like our own little Discord thing, but it doesn't really feel like a community, like a streamer community. It just feels like another Gundam Discord, which I like. I'm glad that the little Brunch and Build channel is like a fun little, just like a fun little model kit Discord, and not really like a, because I'm in a couple of like I thought about this because I'm in a couple of streamer Discords for people that I like. And I think it's cool, but I'm like, I tried being active in some and I just can't do it. Maybe it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm so bad at like not being anxious socially. I'm so bad at like not being socially anxious. This is polycap. I need polycaps for this. Yeah, I feel like it's daunting to me because I'm like, oh god, these people already like are friends with each other. How do I like get in there? Okay, like how do I get in there? It feels like I kind of can't. It feels like I kind of can't. Like that's kind of just it for me. And I feel like the other thing with those kinds of settings is difficult to like build friendships that way. There's like a few rare ones, like I did like, there's a couple of random Discords that I've joined that I was able to like, as long as I was able to like, I don't know where I was going with that. There's a few Discords I was able to join that I was like actually found community in and have formed like long-lasting friendships within that I'm like still active and still part of, and I think it's fun and neat. But anyway, yeah, as long as you don't ask which Gundam series is the best one in the Gundam server, you'll be fine. Yeah. Inevitably, it will become a bloodbath. As soon as someone asks that, it will become a bloodbath. And there is a correct answer, and the correct answer is G Gundam. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But I am. But I'm not, and you'll never know. Never know if I'm kidding. What? Look at him! He has come together. So we can see Mr. Turn A in all of his beauty. He's like very nice and posable. He's like very, I like him. He's very flexible and pretty solid actually. It's like a nice solid build. Like he's not, I can shake him around and he's not going anywhere. Like I've definitely built some Gundam that I'm like that are very delicate that I'm like, oh, if I move it wrong, like pieces will just start coming off and I will be sad. The back of him looks crazy though. The back of him looks unfinished. I'm like, is he supposed to look like that? The back of him looks unfinished. His correct answer is Gundam build reel. Man. See, this is what happens. This is why you can never ask these things. Because now I'm like, well, actually. But it is fun though. I like knowing what people think. I like knowing. Yeah! Looking at the image, even in the actual like rear view image, he looks like this. He just looks unfinished. But I like that about him. I like that about Turn 8 Gundam, that the back of him just like looks like there's pieces missing. Let me adjust, actually see what the hell is happening. And it's not just like super washed out on the white background. That's the thing I'll have to like figure out with my lights now that I'm in a new setting and I don't have the natural light that I used to. At least I got to like, my external lights were like super low. I didn't use them too much. I kind of just used them to fill in the gaps that the natural light didn't. But now I don't really have much natural light, so that's new for me. Figure out how to do that. Now you just need to create your own wings for it. Thank you. Yeah, now I have to create my own wings for it, and now he will be complete. Yeah, I'm very happy. Turn 8 came out so good. He's like a really cool kid. He can do a lot. Like he's very posable. I will definitely be panel lining him. Oh, I say that his leg falls off. That was my fault though. That was totally my fault though. but I will be panel lining him. I feel like once he's panel lined, he will look insanely good because there's a lot of like, I can't zoom in any. I forgot this is my lens. It doesn't zoom in that much. But there's a lot of really nice little. Oh, this looks worse. Looks worse now. What have I done? Anyway, I'm just gonna try and refocus. Oh, okay. I think this is doing better. But he's got a lot of like detail molded into him, just like on his various pieces of armor. There's a lot of molding that are like fun little molded designs and stuff. And I think once they're panel lined, he will look insane. Because if you look at like the actual photos of him, obviously all nice and panel lined and looks really nice. So I feel like once he's panel lined and I have a lot of those details standing out, he's gonna look crazy good. Though unfortunately, all of my panel lining stuff is still in boxes. So that will be the adventure for me of the future. I don't even know what, like this guy is basically done. I'm going to panel line him on my own. I'm gonna stay on a little bit longer because I started late because of setup stuff. I'll probably build his little shield because I haven't built his. He's got his iconic shield. I haven't done his iconic shield yet. But I would like to. And it's a live action. Build reel is okay. It's just way too short and not lots of fancy builds and like the normal build series. Yeah, normal build series is crazy. I actually do love the build series and all the crazy kit bashes that are in that show. Well, in the shows. I have a couple of build kits of the build series. They're really nice. One of my personal favorites is Barbatoris because it looks insane. The kit itself, kinda garbage because it falls apart so easily. I had to glue several pieces of it together just so that it doesn't fall apart. But honestly, the pain and the suffering is worth it because Barbatoris looks insane. But I do love a lot of the film. So fun. I love stretching Gundam to the limits that it can be taken. But, yeah. I still don't even know what I'm building next week because my Gundam are still all in a pile upstairs in an entirely different room. I haven't even sorted out the boxes, like separated out the boxes of kits that have already been built that I still need to put on display. Oh my god. Thinking about all the kits that I have to repose. I am in hell. I am in Spain without the S. Just thinking about all the kits that I'm gonna have to unpack and repose. Spoiler alert, I know it's controversial, but my least favorite part of a gunpla is posing it. I actually kind of hate posing gunpla. That's why I like static figures. But I like building gunpla. I love building Gundam, and I think it's really. I love model kits, but I hate when I'm done and I have to figure out a way to pose it and do all of that. I'm like, I honestly, once I pose something, I really don't repose things. I kind of just keep the only exception I feel are my mecha girl kits, are my waifu kits, are kind of the only ones that I will repose occasionally. The HG IBO frame, yeah. I really don't posting things, and that's I just have to do that because majority I've been into Gundam even before I moved into that apartment. I've been into Gundam for a while. Even before I moved into that apartment, I've already been into Gundam, but I think I really started streaming Gundam after I moved into that apartment. It wasn't until after that I really started streaming a lot more. And really got into Gunpla. It was since moving, it's kind of funky. I've been into Gundam. I've been into it for a while, even before I moved into that apartment. And but either way, I remember when I first moved into that apartment versus the amount of Gundam I had when I first moved into that apartment versus the amount of Gundam I had when I moved out of that apartment is like literal exponential growth. I had so many more kits. It's crazy. Both built and unbuilt. And so I'm just thinking about, like, I remember when I first moved in, I had a single IKEA Detolf, which is the glass IKEA shelf, that I had for both my Gunpla and my figures, for my like finished Gundam and my like just regular anime figures that I like collecting. I had a single IKEA Detolf, and literally within like, I kid you not, within like 6 months of living there, that IKEA Detolf just only became for Gundam. I had to move I bought a whole other shelf for my figures. I've actually gotten several shelves for my figures. Spread out my figures among several shelves. Yo, talking about Mecha Musume, have you seen the latest Megami Device kit? Which one are we talking about? Because I do like Megami Device. Are you talking about the new fantasy ones? If you're talking about the Centaur girl, I have seen her. My friend literally pre-ordered her, and it looks even crazier than you think it is. It looks even crazier than you think it initially would. Like, now that I've seen it in the flesh, oh god, saying that hurts me. Seeing it in the flesh is even more cursed. But latest, I'm not 100% sure. Let's look up the latest Megami Device stuff. Honestly, let's go on the Kotobukiya website. We're gonna take a quick detour. Kotobukiya. Megami Device. What are the newest ones? Ooh. These are nice. They're really nice. Okay. Oh, I don't want to show her on stream. Wait, I should not do this. But, if you are at all familiar with Megami Device, there is one that I'm looking at right now that's like very purple. Turn A Gundam. I'm actually, let me put him back here because I just finished him and you can actually see Turn A Gundam. The Centaur is cool. I still need to build my one. The Centaur looks insane. There's a girl who's like purple, like very purple magenta armor, the Amaterasu Eclipse. She looks insane, and I want her. Oh my god. They have another Tamamo no Mae. I've seen the other Tamamo no Mae. Nice. Azra Ninetales. Ooh. I'm a little like, actually, I just clicked on one where I just clicked on like a random Megami Device that from the thumbnail looked really cool. But then when I looked at the full kit, her design was kind of lame. I'm a little sad. Hi, how are you doing? So cool to hear that you like Gunpla so much. Yeah, it's too spicy for my, unfortunately, Megami Device is too spicy for my Christian stream. But now that I have my setup, I will, now that I'm like mostly, well, not most, I'm still unpacking, but like I will be hopefully streaming more outside of Brunch and Build. Again, I don't talk about it too much because I feel bad, but I do stream outside of Brunch and Build. I've yet to do a lot of, it's kind of funny, I think the only model kit streams I've done outside of Brunch and Build are like with friends in Discord, just to like, because I was just like kind of like testing it just to see my setup and how I want to do things, because it looks a little bit different than Brunch and Build. But I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I have a hobby room again. I have my hobby room back. I'm unpacking my Gundam. I have so many that I have to unpack. But how are you guys doing? I always like to know. I always like to know how everyone's doing. But when I'm not doing Brunch and Build is when I'm legally allowed to build my Megami device kits. I'm illegally allowed to look at Megami device. I kind of want to do that. Might be a fun stream sometime, actually, to just like go through model kit websites at new releases and just talk about them. I it'll be a lot of just like, oh my god. I feel like if I look at Musume Streamer After Dark is happening, it is happening. Now that I have like the space for it and I have the setup, it's happening for real this time. I promise. I'm not just like baiting it. It's happening for real. I've done a few streams on my personal channel, though none of them were model kits. I've done a few gaming streams on my personal channel that I had a lot of fun with. Though it's been a minute because I started doing it before my big move was happening, and everything in my life has just been on hold for like a month while I've been dealing with all of the moving stress. But now that I'm mostly settled, I think what really sealed the deal for me is now that I have my now that my table is here, now that my work table is here, now that my like stream setup is here and unpacked, I'm like so excited. But yes, After Dark streams will actually be happening. I think that's like a fun idea that I might actually do in the next few days. I might actually do in the next couple days, because I started looking a little bit at the new Megami device kits, and I'm like, okay, wait, I have thoughts and opinions and feelings about these that I think would be fun to share, but maybe not on not on my Christian Brunch and Build, not on my Christian Minecraft server. Because I forget sometimes the target audience for Mecha Musume. But I love them nonetheless. And I actually have a couple of in-progress Musume kits that I want to do. I actually have one that I want to do on Brunch and Build soon. Maybe not right now because I just did Turn A and I want to do like a bigger build after this. I just finished Turn A and I want to do like a more complex build. I'm still deciding. It'll maybe be a master grade or maybe a real grade. We'll see. Yeah, we will see what I do after this. But it'll be fun and cool. That's for sure. That's kind of all I do. I mean, obviously, I will have it hopefully figured out in the next couple of days. But honestly, that's like a nice kind of low, it sounds bad, low effort, but like doesn't require a lot of prep work because model kits are a lot. And my hobby room is not even remotely like, not really super set up yet. So it'll probably be like another little bit before I can do model kit streams. Probably at least like a week or so until I'm set up enough to do model kit streams. But I do want to do others. He's got his little build. Is it supposed to have stickers on it? I don't know. That's his gun. I kind of don't care about the gun. Hi! Thank you, Noise Maze. Again. But Mr. Turn A, he has his shield. I kind of don't feel like making a gun. I could. Maybe I will just make his gun now. I'm like, I mean, I already made his shield. I think I'll make his gun, and that's kind of it for me. I think that'll, because I do, this pose over here with the gun does look cool. Gun pose does look pretty sick. I cannot argue with that. So, again, Renee is sick. I'm very much looking forward to like analyzing it and and finishing the kit. Again, once I unpack my panel lining supplies, they're in a box somewhere. They're in a box somewhere. Well, I have my like, I mentioned before, I have my like panel lining pen, which is this thing. Because as it may not be super established, but I am insane. And I panel line with a dip ink nib because I'm a control freak. I used to have like a panel lining. I might still have it somewhere. I might have given it away. But at one point in time, I had, if you don't build the gun, it breaks the show anyway. Yeah. To be lore accurate to turn a Gundam. Okay. I mean, I would have built it. Play either. Might as well just. Well, I'm already building the accessories. But I like panel lining with a dip ink nib because I just buy like, again, my panel lining supplies somewhere. But I just buy like the pots of panel liner liquid, of like panel lining ink. I just buy like a pot of it and then I use my dip pen because I have a lot more precision and control over how much of the ink I release at any given time. And I love my like little pen for panel lining. It works, it's what works for me. Obviously, not that people who use like the regular old panel lining marker are wrong, but I'm insane and I like having my like dip ink, my literal like ink nib for panel lining because it's what I like. But yeah, I have to unpack my supplies and figure out where all of my supplies are going. Because I think I used to have a shelf that contained all of my supplies, but that shelf hasn't even been built yet. It is still in a box. Most of my shelves have been built again. Most of my shelves I've built already, but my like supplies shelf has not been built yet. And that's probably now, honestly, now that like, cause for context, part of why it took a while is that this room that is currently my hobby room used to be a different room. Like it used to be an office. And it still had all the stuff of an office in it. Unpacking stream when? Yeah, unpacking IRL. Oh my god, unpacking IRL, like the game. Except it's real, in my real life. That sounds fun, but that's too like, oh, it feels so. Because the whole point of the game Unpacking is it tells the story of this person via their very moving journeys. I'm like, that's too much about me. That's too much information about me. I'm kidding. But also, I don't know. This totally good here. Yeah, I still have a lot of unpacking to do, and this room that is currently my hobby room used to be an entirely different room. Used to be like an entirely different room, and we had to take everything out of this room because also all of my, like when I first moved in here, all of my boxes and all of my hobby supplies were just like in a room, just like in a pile. Or like spread out amongst a couple different rooms. Because my Gunpla is like, all of my Gundam boxes are somewhere completely different. They're like in an attic. I still have to like figure out to figure out what I want to do with. Oh my god, his little, it folds. Cool. There's a sticker that goes. I'll put on the sticker. I usually hate the stickers. I'll put on. Oh, the tip of his gun. This is the sticker for the tip of the gun, and I move down the side. And it almost looks normal. Oh my god. Look at that. He's got his gun. Oh god. Sticker. What is that? 6. Oh, that's the tape goes somewhere. I'm gonna say it goes here, which is actually where it goes. Oh my god. Yeah. An unpacking stream does sound fun, but I'm also like, that sounds so stressful to me. So stressful. Unpacking is already stressful, let alone streaming and unpacking at the same time. Oh, so that's also kind of neat, the way these stickers are. But this is the bottom. The bottom one goes this way. Being super careful. I messed this up. I'm toast. I'm done. That's it. My career is over. My career as a professional Sim streamer is over. If I can't apply this correctly, we're good. We're good. My life is safe. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what is in store, what is to come. Basically, I'm excited for what is to come, because there's a lot of cool stuff that is to come that I'm excited for. I now have the space for. I now have the time and ability for. I didn't before, but I do now. Like, finally having the After Dark stream that I've been wanting to on my personal channel, and actually like streaming on my and doing stuff. I love Brunch and Build. Brunch and Build is not going anywhere. I do love Brunch and Build, but I want to do more. I want to do more things. I like streaming and I want to do it more. And I feel like I'm very recently finally entering, like, having the time and being mindset for it and like getting in there. I think that's the last thing you want to do is flash chat with one of your teacher waifu kids. That's exactly how I'm not gonna lie, one of the things I was thinking about. Because also one of the unpacking tasks that I still have to do, I've unpacked my books, like I've at least released them from their box prison. I've released all of my books from their box prison, but I still have not even remotely sorted them. And I'm like, I thought about that briefly of like, oh my god, that would be like a fun time of just like going through all of my books and my manga. And then I thought about it a little more. Then I was like, oh no. You guys, I think it's better. I think it's better if you don't know that about me. If there's some things that is left unsaid and yeah. Also, I very well might flash one of my D-Gen waifu kids. I hate to say that I'm not just joking about it. I do own several. And I do not plan on stopping. But speaking of D-Gen waifu kids, I honestly think that might be something I do tomorrow. Is just like go on model kit releases, like go on stream, just like going through new model kit releases and talking about them, specifically some of the new Megami Device Girls. Because I have thoughts and feelings that I would like to express, but perhaps not on the Christian Minecraft server. I promise I'm not that bad. I promise I'm not that bad. But I can't say I'm that good either. I can't say I'm that good either. I'm like not really the target audience for waifu kits, but I also kind of am. I say that while I continue buying them. With my own dollars too. Like obviously the Brunch and Build budget is not for waifu kits. I have to use my own dollars on my waifu kits, which I think is worse. I man, yeah. I think that might be my from the hints you have given us about your manga collection. Yeah, much less this channel. Yeah, I think you're right. I may talk about it tomorrow, but I also probably won't. I don't want YouTube to kill me. No, actually, I think it would be fun at one point to talk about my manga collection outside of outside of some of the more questionable things. I am quite proud of my manga collection and just like the things that I read. Because I like reading things that are good, and I have like a nice collection of manga that I love that I think are good. And some that are questionable, but are still good. Like, I know this sounds like such a cop-out, but a lot of the time, I buy it for the story. I buy it for the story, even though no one ever believes me. I do like the story. But that may be a discussion for another day. That most definitely not suitable for this channel. Oh, speaking of, I think that will be my plan tomorrow. That will be on my personal channel that I don't head out too often because I feel weird. But it is linked on my Discord if anyone is ever curious. It's linked on my Discord. Which is, I don't know. I mean, if people follow me at all on my various social medias, yeah, I'm still shocked you bought Susan Owo from the way you explained that you disliked about waifu kits. I would not have expected you to like it, much less buy it and build it. Yeah, listen. People are a duality. Listen, this is just an example of the duality of man, of humankind itself, is how I, despite not liking the target demographic and a lot of the marketing and honestly a lot of the design elements of waifu kits, I like Susanoo. I know it's Susanoo, but like I say Susan Owo. I like the design of Susan. And it's something that honestly I would like to talk about at some point, is why I actually do like a lot of waifu kits. Despite having a lot of gripes about the concept of waifu kits and like the concept of mecha musume. I have a lot of like innocent ones too. Like I've built a couple on stream, and there is one that I would like to build on stream later, because I actually have the 30-Minute Sisters Idolmaster collab kits, which are really cute, and I am looking forward to building them. And that's like a stream kit that I'd like to do at some point, are the Idolmaster girls, because they're just really cute and fun. But I also have some ones that are not quite as just cute and fun. But that is something I would like to talk about at some point. Maybe tomorrow. I think I'll talk about it tomorrow. I have this idea in my brain now, and I want to do it where I just have like a stream about, like, finally Susan Owo. Oh god. Yeah. I would like to talk about that. That might be an activity for tomorrow. I'll probably like post about it on Twitter or Blue Sky, which I am honestly more active on these days. The one thing I will shout out is my Blue Sky. And I think it would be neat if people followed me on Blue Sky because that's where I talk about, I'm one, more active, and two, will be discussing my future streaming endeavors and sharing my future streaming endeavors. I think it's fun. I think it's, I'm one of those people that has the same username on like everything. Oh my god, this is gonna be like a awful phone screen kind of a deal. You know what? Yeah, I'll do it anyway. Ow! Oh god. Oh god. This is so scuffed, so beautiful, but it's over for me. But it's just Rexcorp. That's my Blue Sky. In case anyone is curious, interested in following my future endeavors. It's on there. It'll be on there. I will probably, as things evolve, post details about it, but honestly, I'm ballparking tomorrow evening. I want to have a Megami device stream. That'll kick off after dark. To kick off after dark. Even though it won't be like an actual model kit stream yet, I don't have the capacity for that yet, but just like a basic, we're sharing my screen and we're talking about kits, I'm definitely capable of. And I think that's the plan. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And so yeah, I am looking forward to it. I'm very excited. I think I have a lot of ideas and plans in my brain, and I'm very notorious for like not following through on things because I am bad at that. But I don't know, man. I'm in therapy now, okay? Might be okay. A little bit personal, but I'm in therapy now, guys. So things are looking up. I'm medicated again. Like, things are really going great for me right now. It's not something that I'm like against talking about. I like being open about like mental health and stuff because it's things that most people experience. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like a part of life. But yeah, it's something I've always struggled with, as it tends to be. And I'm like very happy that I can like see a therapist now. Because last time I saw a therapist was like 5 years ago. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. Last time I've been medicated was like at least 3 or 4 years ago. And it was pretty good at the time. But then I stopped because of insurance, because I hate the insurance. Yeah, I hate the insurance system of America. And so does a lot of people, it seems like. And so does a lot of people, it seems. I don't think Heather would approve of me talking about condoning murder on our Christian Minecraft server. But, you know, if it happens, it happens. If that's what it takes to fix the United States healthcare system, listen. I'm not exactly going to say anything about that then. But yeah. Anyway, my insurance is fine now. And I'm like seeing a therapist and I'm like on my meds again. I'm pretty sick. I'm very happy. I understand it works for some people, but hated by others. Yeah, it really is like a personal thing. Again, like there's no correct or incorrect way to deal with these things. There really isn't. It's just a matter of finding what works for you. And for me, like a combination of medication and therapy did work for me, but then I lost my insurance and I just kind of had to wing it for a while. I kind of just had to raw dog it for a while of just like no therapy, no medication, just living. Is I'm also like not someone who self-medicates either. Like I don't even really drink caffeine because caffeine doesn't really do anything. One, it barely affects me, and I hate the taste of coffee, so that means nothing. And I hate the taste of energy drinks because they taste like battery acid. So I don't even like self-medicate. I don't drink, I don't do anything like that because it's just like not how I choose to live my life. And so I really have kind of just been raw dogging it lately for like the past several years. So it's nice to like be treated for things again. I feel like things are looking pretty good for me. I'm very happy. And it's been like 2 hours. I think it's about time for me to head out. About 2 hours. I'm done with turn A. There's like not much else. I've built his gun. I've built his shield. All that's left now is for me to panel line and pose him, which I have to excavate my panel lining supplies to do. I'll have to excavate my panel lining supplies, but we will at some point. And I will be probably streaming tomorrow on my personal channel. I guess Kryson After Dark. And I will probably be doing my Makamusume stream. If you're curious about my thoughts and feelings more in depth on Makamusume kits and some of the waifu kits. But the Gunpla waifu kits don't allow you to have another vice. That's kind of truly how it is. I can't afford any more vices. I really can't. I already am addicted to plastic. Like, I financially could not handle like being an alcoholic. I already devote so much of my effort and time and dollars into like model kits. And I cannot otherwise. I can't do anything else. But yeah. If you're curious about that, about my Brunch and Build, to be clear, Brunch and Build will continue every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It will be here. I will be brunch and building. I will be working. I still haven't decided what kit I'm building next, but it'll happen. I'll be here with a new kit next week. It'll probably be a master grade or real grade, because this one, just to be clear, if you could probably tell from the title, is high grade Turn A Gundam. And I did this kit because I've been in the midst of moving and I wanted to do something simple. But now that I'm like getting settled in, I want to just jump back into like a more intensive build, and I'll probably be doing a master grade or a real grade. I'm juggling between a couple of kits that I might want to do. But we will. I'll figure it out by next week. I'll have figured it out by next week. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. I will be back with Brunch and Build next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturday morning. But tomorrow evening, I will probably be on my personal channel talking about Mecha Musume kits. And other things that probably are not welcome on the Christian Minecraft server. And if you're curious, follow me on... I also probably will post about it on Twitter. So if you want to know about that, it's on my Twitter and Blue Sky. I would recommend following me on if you're curious. As always, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I shall see you all next week, or maybe tomorrow. Bye-bye!